Hello friends, today I'm going to tell Rob's story. The biggest day of his life both personally and academically is coming up for a high school graduate. But it all falls apart without ever reaching the finals. Enjoy watching it. Rob has a beautiful dream involving a charming beauty. The dream makes the boy feel so good that his mother, who looks into his room, is dumbfounded by what she sees. The boy goes downstairs burning with shame, hoping to go to school without too much talk, but nothing comes of it as father asks him to stick around for a talk, knowing that Rob has an important college interview today. He gives him his old swimming armband and asks him to wear it before the meeting. Rob's friend Stanley, also a weirdo, joins him on his way to school and tells him about his morning fantasies, but it's time for the boys to get back to reality and head to class. Outside the school, friends meet Arthur, who writes lesson plans to teachers for money. And also Gabriel, Rob's friend, with whom the boy can discuss a nerdy intellectual show. This whole bunch is not well respected at school, and the local volleyball players demonstrate this by spilling their feces all over Rob's pants. It's a real disaster for the kid, but a friend promises to find him clean clothes for his interview. Only shorts are found, but the guy has no choice but to either stink or wear them. When Angela unexpectedly approaches the boys and requests an extra lesson with Rob, Archer gives his friend Stanley advice to use the restroom and relax while thinking about the loveliest high school lady. But the guy turns her down, citing his business and sending the pretty girl to Arthur the nerd. Stanley doesn't understand why his friend is cowardly at all. After all, Angela is very popular at school, but Rob doesn't want to cancel his meeting with Gabriel and skipped watching an intellectual show. Only Rob, who is focused on his textbook and listening intently to the teacher during literature class, is prepared for his interview. The guy is summoned right in the middle of class. The vice principal greets the youngster in a cordial manner while pretended not to notice history stream short says. Gabriel offers to accompany his pals to the head teacher's office again to discuss the most recent intellectual show news. He takes Rob's note sheet on which Stanley drew a naughty picture and frozen in the trash, asking him to be himself. The boy begins his story, but the vice principal begins to sob, remembering his late wife. The interviewer reacts similarly to the remaining questions, and Rob is forced to hand him his father's bandana so he can wipe his face and regain his composure. But it doesn't work. The interview fails and the schoolboy walks away with nothing. When Rob meets Angela in the hallway, he tells her that he has changed his mind and that he can come and study with her. The guy hopes that at least this will cheer him up. Rob is hesitant to tell Gabriel the truth, which is why he lies that he just isn't in the mood for an intellectual show. After school, the friends go to the drugstore to get Rob ready for Wrangler's class. The guy ends up presumptuously picking up 3 whole pouches, also oversized, at the blonde's house. Rob is greeted by her strange visitor, but none of this overshadows the schoolboy's anticipation. The girl doesn't keep him waiting. She invites him to sit on the bed and drink wine, telling him that her parents are not home. When even this does not give Rob the courage, the beautiful girl goes on the offensive. At this point, the guy wakes up in his bed looking exactly the same as he did in the morning. Everything repeats itself with precision. The awkward conversation with his father, his old bandana, and his mother's indignation over the stained sheets. The road to school turns out to be very familiar too. Even Stanley repeats his silly story. Rob is eventually persuaded that he is not dreaming and is actually reliving the previous day when Arthur and Gabrielle utter similar lines. Dirty pants, shorts, and Angela's request. The guy decides that he just did all, and that's why he's experiencing déjà vu. But he fails to use it to his advantage, and the interview fails again due to the tears of the head teacher. The schoolboy goes to the infirmary and asks for help. But after seeing other students at the school getting help, Rob decides to take care of it himself. He goes to the drugstore again, only this time he forgets to warn Gabriel that their appointment is cancelled. A session with Angela sends Rob back to his bed. This is where his mother catches him, and so it goes from day to day. Tired of these repetitions, Rob climbs into the bedroom of high school girl Lisa, with whom Stanley is spending time. Due to a delayed innocence, Stanley assumes that his friend's difficulty is all about hormones when he tells him about it and advises that Rob quickly fix the problem with the 3 of us. This time the morning begins with this moment, but it is no different than the previous ones. The guy starts to lose his cool, and once again, when the jocks threaten him with a water pistol, he smashes it against the wall and has to flee from the seniors after realizing that it's all about the flashy finale that throws him off at this point. Rob tests his theory with an adult website, and the theory is confirmed. In order to escape the trap, Rob has to pull his pants down in front of the guys and get to the morning bedroom. This time, the child cancels his conversation with his father and tries to have a different type of talk with his buddies. He drives the mini mobile to school too. and instead of classes and interviews and with Gabriel he goes to the school bus to fulfill his long-held dream of going to the teacher's bathroom. After that he rolls his girlfriend around school eating donuts and not worrying about the interview he failed again. As he walks past the open office, Rob notices that literature is going on there and he remembers another point. He enters the classroom and checks to see if the real teacher's big soul surprising her and his classmates. The guy goes completely off the rails and in the cafeteria he decides to get revenge on Sally for the wrongs he has suffered since 4th grade. But he seems to have overreacted this time and the girl gets up and smears the boy on the wall with a punch to the forbidden spot. Rob taken to the principal's office because he has managed to surprise everyone during the day. The boy finds out at the office that he is facing significant consequences and that the police are heading to the school with his parents. The schoolboy asks to let him go to the bathroom but the principal refuses. Then Rob solves the problem on the spot and puts his hand in his pants. He proceeds to the procedure using mayonnaise. Rob escapes from the office to the women's locker room where he tries to continue moving back into the morning. Except that after Sally's punch it seems that not everything is working right for him. Stanley traces his best to help but it only makes things worse. So Rob intends to give up. Fortunately another punch from Sally solves the problem. Everything starts all over again but an exhausted Rob doesn't even want to have fun anymore. Rob has lost his friendship with the vice principal when it comes to the job interview since he understands that other people's desires are also present. He doesn't want to go to college or visit Angela and that's why he's not excited about anything. Instead of visiting the blonde, Rob goes to Gabriel and tells her everything hoping her friend will believe him. The girl takes the story with doubt but tries to help her friend and takes him to Arthur. However, the botanist's home is not particularly hospitable to visitors, and a fight sends Rob back to the bedroom. This time Rob tells his friends about what is happening to him right there at school. He has to make an effort to find out from Arthur what his grandmother was yelling, throwing herself at the guests. It turns out that the strange word meant a curse and how to break it Rob has no idea. The guy finds words that convince his friends that he is not lying. Stanley thinks that at some point during the day, Rob makes a mistake, and that until he fixes it, things will continue until they are in order. He informs Angela that he is coming to her to bring her joy. And having learned his lesson from his buddy behaves this time much more active this time. Suddenly it becomes clear to the guy what's going on. Angela doesn't actually like him, she just planned to use him for homework. On his way out of the blonde's house Rob sees his father who has learned of the failed interview. He persuades his son to wear a bandana and takes him to the head teacher to try his luck again. The boy has to listen to the sad story again but this time the man pulls himself together and conducts the interview. He points out that he never hears from the guy why he wants to go to college himself. He only hears about why his parents want him to. Rob realizes that he really doesn't want to go to college, or maybe he does but he hasn't thought about it yet because in fact he thinks about Gabriel all the time. The father decides to help his son and they all go together to see the girl. Rob climbs into the window of Gabriel's room and confesses that he had nothing with Angela. But the girl doesn't care and asks her boyfriend to leave. When he doesn't agree, Gabriel decides to move Rob back into the morning bedroom. She pulls off her outer clothing and gets close to his belt. At this point the girl's father enters the room. Rob gathers up the courage and confesses his love to his girlfriend right in front of the man. After which he goes home and wants to start all over again tomorrow. But Gabrielle convinces Rob to stay so they can finally have their first joyride. Not to say that it works out well, but still Rob no longer disappears and after an outburst of emotion he stays in his girlfriend's bed. His curse disappears. This is the end of the movie.